Listen up, Birds fans. We all have huge dreams for the future of our franchise, but we need to talk about some serious red flags popping up at the NovaCare complex. While we're pinning our hopes on the latest draft class to secure our offensive identity, the reality of this mandatory minicamp has been nothing short of concerning. Are these top picks truly ready to make the impact we desperately need? Or are we facing a massive wake-up call this summer? Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments as we dive into this developing situation. The 2026 rookie class of the Eagles is currently facing significant hurdles during mandatory minicamp, creating a situation that demands close observation as the summer approaches. While the long-term outlook for players like Makai, Eli Stowers, and Markel Bell remains tied to the future of the offense, their immediate impact during these early stages has been limited. Evaluating these top picks has proven difficult due to a lack of meaningful on-field participation. Makai, in particular, has been forced to the sidelines while nursing a hamstring injury. This absence has had a tangible effect on the competitive landscape of the team's receiving corps, as the battle for the WR2 position has clearly shifted in favor of Dontavion Wicks, because Sean Mannion's offensive system is notably complex. Missing these crucial reps puts Lemon behind the 8-ball as he attempts to secure a role. While the team remains hopeful that he can be an instant contributor, the current reality of his injury recovery is the central focus of his progression. Similarly, Eli Stowers has struggled to gain traction as the TE3 on the depth chart, currently trailing behind Johnny Munt. Stowers has remained quiet throughout the open practices available to the media, indicating he has yet to fully grasp the nuances of the offensive playbook. The Eagles are counting on him to provide immediate assistance, yet that transition is still in its infancy. With the team preparing for the grind of the season, the lack of availability and production from these high-profile rookies during this specific period raises questions about their readiness for the upcoming year. As fans often chant, "Fly Eagles fly." But for this incoming class, the path to taking flight in 2026 is currently filled with unexpected and challenging obstacles that require immediate attention. Markel Bell represents a unique aspect of this rookie class, standing out for his massive physical presence and versatility. During voluntary OTAs, Bell was afforded the opportunity to take first-team reps at right tackle, while Lane Johnson was absent. However, now that Johnson has returned to his position, the depth chart has adjusted accordingly. Fred Johnson has stepped into the role of the number 3 tackle, consistently lining up with the second team at right tackle, while Bell has been positioned at left tackle with the second unit. The organization clearly values Bell's ability to play on both sides of the offensive line, viewing him as a long-term successor to the veteran leadership of Johnson. Despite this high regard for his future potential, Bell is not currently serving as the team's primary reserve tackle, a development that is entirely acceptable given the typical developmental timeline for a player at his position. Why does this matter right now for the Eagles? The team faces a critical transition period following the departure of A.J. Brown, meaning the success of these rookies is not just a luxury, but a necessity for the offense to function at its desired level. The inability of top draft picks to immediately establish themselves creates a void that veteran players are currently forced to fill. This impacts the depth chart and the overall preparedness of the roster for the 2026 season. If players like Lemon and Stowers do not find their footing once training camp begins and pads come on, the team may be forced to rely on existing depth, which changes the dynamic of how they approach offensive efficiency. The development of these rookies is intrinsically linked to how the coaching staff will finalize their roster decisions before the regular season kicks off later this year. Beyond the top 3 selections, other members of the draft class are also dealing with their own set of trials as they attempt to earn a spot on the roster. Cole Payton, who is expected to compete for the quarterback 3 role, has had a difficult spring. Throughout the mandatory minicamp, Payton struggled, coming close to throwing multiple interceptions during his limited action. It is important to note that the backup quarterback group as a whole did not perform well during these sessions, but Payton clearly has a significant amount of work to do to meet the expectations of the coaching staff. The team's approach to managing these rookies can be seen in their recent personnel moves, such as signing veteran guard Michael Jordan. This strategic addition does a favor for Micah Morris, taking the pressure off him to contribute immediately if Landon Dickerson or Tyler Steen encounter injury issues. Because Jordan is capable of playing the left guard position, Morris is allowed to focus exclusively on his development at right guard. This veteran presence provides a safety net that benefits the long-term progression of Morris. Meanwhile, other rookies face their own distinct challenges. Cole Wisniewski was unable to participate in the team period during minicamp, although he remains in the mix for a safety spot. Uar Bernard is currently in the process of learning the fundamental aspects of professional football, effectively designating this season as a redshirt year for his growth. Additionally, Keyshawn James Newby faces an uphill battle to make the final roster, given the significant depth the Eagles currently possess at the pass rusher position. The collective performance of this group has led to a cautious approach regarding their immediate role in the 2026 season. The collective performance of the 2026 rookie class has led to a verdict that they are currently behind the 8 ball. As the team prepares for the summer, the focus remains on the transition from shells and shorts to full padded practices. This shift is expected to be the true test for players like Makai Lemon and Eli Stowers, who must prove their worth if they are to see the field as instant contributors. The absence of A.J. Brown from the roster makes it even more imperative that the new offensive weapons develop rapidly, yet their progress has been hindered by injuries and a lack of experience in the offensive scheme. The team is clearly looking for these young players to form the core of its future, specifically naming Lemon, Stowers, Bell, Morris, and Bernard as the pillars for the long-term outlook of the franchise. However, patience is required, as the current reality is that they have not yet met the bar required for significant playing time. While the lack of pad-heavy practices provides some context for their slow start, the concern remains that if these struggles persist into the summer, the organization may need to adjust its expectations for the 2026 campaign. The narrative surrounding this class is one of high potential, dampened by current limitations. The team has been careful not to overreact to the spring performances, but the red flags are visible enough to warrant a change in how these players are evaluated once training camp begins. The transition to the professional level is rarely smooth, and this class is currently experiencing the reality of that difficulty firsthand. The management and coaching staff are now looking for a strong reset when the players return to the facility to kick off the next stage of their professional journey. Looking ahead, the narrative of the 2026 rookie class is one defined by the gap between long-term expectations and short-term performance. The franchise has invested heavily in these players, banking on the idea that they can eventually lead the team on both sides of the ball. The immediate task for Makai Lemon, as he recovers from his hamstring injury, will be to prove that he can integrate himself into the complex system quickly enough to be a factor during the regular season. For Eli Stowers, the goal is to show the coaching staff that he can move up from his position as the third tight end and contribute meaningfully in the passing game. Markel Bell continues to be a massive physical presence, whose versatility will be a major asset as he gains more experience with the second team and eventually challenges for a larger role. The situation with the backup quarterbacks and the strategic signing of veteran depth at the guard position highlight how the front office is navigating the need for immediate help while still fostering the growth of young talent. Patience is often cited as a virtue in sports, and this rookie class will certainly put that sentiment to the test throughout the summer. There is no cause for panic yet, as it is only June, but the internal expectations for immediate impact are clear. As training camp approaches, the focus will turn to how these young athletes handle the physical demands of the NFL. The organization remains committed to the development of these players, believing that their roles will expand as they become more comfortable with the rigors of the team's offensive identity. The journey to success is rarely a straight line, and for these rookies, the real work begins the moment they put the pads on.